Pranams, everybody. I'm making a voice clip because that video that Seek and Learn just shared about Swami Dayananda and his path of Advaita Vedanta and how he discovered the way the pramanas should be used. This video sparked an idea for me to make a voice recording for you all. So that's what I want to do. I want to highlight a topic on Vedanta that I find very interesting about the pramanas. There's 6 pramanas, and these pramanas are our sources of knowledge. The Shastra themselves list 6 ways for us to know something. And those 6 ways are pratyaksha, which is perception. It's knowledge that's gained through the 5 sense organs, interacting with objects, the eyes, the ears, the nose, the tongue, the skin. We have anumana, which is inference. It's a logical reasoning that's based on observed data, such as inferring that there is fire from smoke. Upamana, which is comparison or using analogies. So it's knowledge of a new object gained through its similarity to a known object. We have arthapatti, postulation or circumstantial implication, which just means presuming a fact to explain a contradiction or a gap in knowledge, such as assuming that a person is eating at night because they are fat, but not eating during the day. So you don't eat this you don't see this person, but every day or through the day, during daytime, you never see this person eat. You never see them eat. But they still grow in size. Despite that you are with them every day and you never see them eat, they still grow. So you assume they must eat at night. Anupalabdhi, which is non-perception / non-apprehension. It's knowledge of a non-existence of an object, such as concluding that there's no jar on the table because it is not seen. So that's the first 5. The 6th and most important to a Vedantam is Shabda, which is testimonies / scripture, the scriptures. So it's authoritative verbal knowledge. Particularly, it's knowledge from the Vedas or the Upanishads. And in Advaita, it's primary. This is the primary pramana or the primary means of coming to know reality. It's an indispensable pramana for understanding the ultimate reality of Brahman, which can't be known through the other 5. Now, without any real introduction, the point that I find interesting is that there is not really any pramana to reveal that there is a difference between anything in our experiences. In fact, to take that a step further and really highlight what I'm saying, the pramana can't detect any difference between any 2 objects in the whole universe at all. And I'll demonstrate how briefly. If I sit a banana in front of you, we can see a banana. And if I sit an apple next to it, we can see the apple. And we say, aha, there is difference here. But I would encourage you to ask where. What is that location? First thing to go for is the shape. The shape is clearly different. I can use pratyaksha. You got me right there at the very first pramana. However, pratyaksha is perception alone. You perceive a round and a red thing. You perceive a long and a yellow thing. But notice what just happened. Pratyaksha didn't give you banana. It didn't give you apple. It gave you color, shape, texture, possibly a smell. maybe a taste if you bite it. It is raw data, a bundle of attributes appearing in awareness. And here's a clean way to say it. Pratyaksha only ever delivers the 5 kinds of sense data. Shabda sparsha rupa rasa gandha. Sound, touch, form, taste, smell. That's it. Now, you should try to point to difference in that list. Pause it here so you can think, and I'll keep talking. The moment that you say difference, you've already silently smuggled in an extra step. Classification. The mind goes, this set of features equals apple. That set of features equals banana. And then it compares the 2 labels and goes, yep, different. But that different is not a thing that you perceived. You never saw difference floating between them like a third object. You saw this and you saw that. That's it. You perceived attributes twice, and then the mind stamped a conclusion on top of that. So you might say, okay, fine, not pratyaksha, but anumana, inference. I'll infer the difference because the properties are conflicting. One is sweet, one is starchy, one is red, one is yellow. But also, inference can't do it because inference only works off of an observed vyapti patterns within perception. Okay? Inference only works off of observed vyapti patterns within perception. It only rearranges perceived data. It never produces an independent, different substance. It just says, given this feature set, I call it X. Given that feature set, I call it Y. So this is still mind language operating on sensory inputs. This is not discovering difference as an entity, a new entity. It is relabeling feature bundles. Upamana, comparison and analogy. Even worse for this, because comparison assumes you already have a known thing and a new thing as separate categories. And then you map similarity and difference. So this one presupposes the very separation that it claims to establish. It's basically, I already cut reality into pieces, and now I'm going to compare all of these pieces. So what about arthapatti postulation? This one is only for resolving contradictions and gaps. Okay? So if I know somebody and I work with them all day, and say I even live with them for some reason, and I'm with them all day from the beginning of the day until that sun goes down, they don't leave my side, and I have never seen them eat food. But I am literally seeing them every single day gain weight. So what is arthapatihi? Well, he doesn't eat that day, so he must be eating at night because he's gaining weight. So this doesn't reveal a difference between 2 objects. It resolves a puzzle in a story. So this is a patching tool. It's not a difference detector. So what about anupalabdhi? Non-perception. So this can only tell us that there is no jar on that table. The jar is absent on that table. It gives absence. It doesn't give difference. And even to say jar absent, you already had an idea of a jar and a table. And they were separate categories again. So the mind here as well also pre-sliced, where we're dealing with pre-sliced parts. So what is left? How do we ever see any difference? That answer is ignorance. But the one that's left is Shabda. Testimony, it is the Vedas, the Upanishads. So how does Shabda prove difference? Can Shabda prove difference? Shabda can say banana is different from apple. Yes, it could say that. But Shabda is still operating in language. And language works by naming and separating. Words do not reveal an independently existing difference entity. They impose conceptual boundaries so that we can function. Language is great for the vyavahara. It is not a microscope for some extra ontological thing that we call difference or bheda. And that is my point. All 6 pramanas are brilliant at one job. They deliver functional knowledge inside vyavahara. Within transaction, within practical life, they give you what to do, what to avoid, how to navigate. They're calibrated for the world of names and forms. And there's also a simple rule behind this. A pramana is meant to reveal a fact, and a fact can only be one. So, if difference was an ultimate fact sitting there in reality, pramanas should be able to hand it over cleanly as a knowable thing. And they don't. What they do hand you is always attributes and then the mind organizing activity on top. And in fact, the Shabda Pramana supports the fact that there can only be one. The Pramana, Shabda Pramana says that. Brahman, aham brahmasmi. Not only is there only one, you are that one. Stop looking. So my point is the pramanas should be able to hand over to you difference as a clean, knowable thing. But they don't. What they hand you is simply just attributes and the mind's organizing activities on top of that. If you ask them to reveal some ultimate intrinsic differenceness between things, they can't, because every single pramana gives you either attributes, relations inferred from attributes, absence of an expected attribute object, or verbal classification. None of this is a perception of difference itself. Okay? So, difference is not an object. It's not sitting out there in the universe waiting to be detected like radiation. Difference is a judgment that the mind makes after it has already chopped experience into categories. And the bit that Vedanta really cares about is if difference is not something that any pramana can ever reveal as an independent reality, then what exactly are we so confident about when we say the world is many? Like, we're confident about the appearance of many, namarupa, the play of forms, and that's fair, that's undeniable at the level of experience. But manyness, as a fact, that would be a philosophical claim. And it's being made using tools that can't actually deliver such a claim. So Vedanta goes good. Let the pramanas do their rightful job in the empirical realm. And for the final truth, the issue isn't to collect more perceptions. The issue is error, superimposition, mistaking the classification for the reality, taking namarupa to be a second thing, instead of seeing it as an appearance depending on a substratum. Which substratum? Brahman. You don't need a new pramana to see non-duality. You need the correction of the mistaken conclusion that difference is fundamentally real. Difference is not fundamentally real. The pramanas do not support it. And that's exactly why Shastra is special. Not because it gives you any sort of worldly data, but because it functions like a mirror. It points out the hidden assumptions, the wrong inferences, the of course it's many reflex, and then it just dissolves it. It doesn't deny your experience of the banana and the apple. It's denying the leap that says, therefore, there's two independent realities here. Apple, one, banana, two. No. Apple, banana cha Brahma asti. Banana and the apple are Brahman. So, banana and apple, yep, totally different for eating, shopping, nutrition, or vyavahara. But if you go hunting for that difference itself as a real thing, can we say it is established by any pramana? Can you ever actually find it? No. Difference is not established by the Shruti. Difference is not established by any pramana. Therefore, why would we accept anything other than Advaitam? Thanks for listening. Hari Om.